Evolutionists believe that once upon billions of years ago, life formed from one single-celled organism. There are many problems with this, which Keyan will outline later, but many people firmly believe this. One of the problems is that there is no basis for morality. If we were just evolved from slime, then how are we accountable to anyone? If there is no higher power, then where does our standard of morality come from? There is none. It's whatever I believe. What can be wrong for me can be right for somebody else. Whatever happens, postmodernism comes in. Evolution is wrong on many levels, but the biggest reason it's wrong is because God is the creator of everything. Keyan's going to outline some proofs as to why God is the creator and why that makes logical sense.
That we all didn't pop out of nowhere. That's what evolutionists believe. Evolutionists believe that billions and billions of years ago, two balls of matter collided, blowing up and creating the entire universe. That doesn't sound right, does it? If you take two bombs and you put them in a brick factory and you blow them up, a house doesn't appear, does it? That doesn't make any sense. Like, let's say that if you're in your room, your room's a total mess and lightning strikes the middle of your room. Your clothes won't go all in your basket and your papers won't go inside your desk. That's not going to happen. Everything has a creator. If you see a painting, you know there was a painter. If you see a car, you know there was a car maker. Be a proof. If you see a tree, there's a tree maker. If you see a human, there's a human maker. You have to keep. If evolution keeps on going further and further back, eventually there has to be a starting point. There has to be a starting point. How are the leaves so perfectly shaped to identify the tree? How's the sap on the inside to keep the nutrients flowing through the tree? It just doesn't make any sense how this all could have appeared out of nothing. And our brains, scientists haven't even figured out everything that our brain does yet. Our brains are incredibly designed. We only use about 20 to 25% capability that our brains have. That didn't blow up and become nothing. Our eyes, if it evolved out of nothing, how would we be able to see back then? If each part of our eye was evolving at once, there'd be a part where we couldn't see at all. When we didn't have photoreceptors in our eyes, when we didn't have the irises or the pupils, what would happen? We wouldn't be able to see, would we? It makes a lot more sense that God, in his infinite loving and kindness, would create all of us the way that he wanted us to.
As Keyan said, it makes no logical sense. As a person who is heavily influenced by logic, I could not wrap my head around the fact that they think, as Richard Dawkins has famously stated, we are so stupid that we believe that because cars and airplanes and roads are intelligently designed, that we are too. Well, we're not. This makes no logical sense. If you follow consistently, it proves that we are created by a creator. Nothing just pops out of existence, as Keyan said. There is much importance attached to the fact that we are created. Not only because of the fact that it is logical to believe this, but because it is morally necessary. First off, as I said earlier, if we were not created, then we have no basis of morality. There is no accountability. There can be no laws because there's nothing necessary. Survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest is what led to euthanasia among older people because they are not, quote unquote, contributing the most to society compared to a 20-year-old male. There's a big difference, yes, but they have so much wisdom and we can learn from them. It's also what led to abortion, why there are hundreds and thousands and even millions and billions of unborn babies that have been killed simply because people don't see the value in human life. If we don't see value in human life, then we will slowly degrade. We need to recognize that God has created each of us with a purpose, that we are accountable to him and to him alone. And because there is such a value placed on human life, and because there is a God who gave us that life, we are accountable to him morally. This is why so many people believe in evolution. The belief in evolution makes us not morally accountable. We can do whatever we want with zero ramifications because there is no God. Because we believe that there is a creator, that he loves each and every one of us. We need to go out and share the gospel. We need to share that there's a creator who loves you, but who is also a just judge and will condemn you if you have not surrendered and placed your faith and trust in him alone for salvation.